Yeah. Good good afternoon, good evening, good morning, good night, yesterday, today, tomorrow, last night, tonight, tomorrow night.
Yes.
Welcome to another episode of Just Cuz Podcast. Me and my cousin on here rapping about, I don't know, topics that we go through, lives that experiences that we have, and just kind of having a general conversation and giving our perspective on how we get through and everything that we, our experiences and stuff. I'm Rashad, and we got Molly.
Molly.
You know what I'm saying? Be out here Molly whopping, but old quick draw McGraw.
Yes.
How you doing today?
I'm doing okay. The best that I can do. Friday. It's my off day, and I can't ask for any more. So
What? You're off day, man.
yeah, every other Friday.
Dang.
That's the first thing that I like about my job.
I'm telling you, look, there's some other organizations I believe need to adopt that. You know what I'm saying?
You better know it.
You know what I'm saying? I've been saying it for years. There's no reason I need to work 5 days a week.
Yeah.
Get 2 days off. It doesn't make any sense to me.
No.
I think 4-day work weeks is enough. 4 days on, 3 days off.
It is. I think everybody should do that. I mean, we need our mental day, and today I needed my mental day, like to gather my thoughts. So, it feels good to have not to get up in the morning on everybody else's time, and one of my kids had all too. So, that worked out well for me.
I can dig it. I can dig it.
Yeah.
Man, all right. So we'll get into today's topic.
Yes.
We talked about projecting our fears onto others. But I think there's another thing, is projecting our expectations, ambitions, and goals on other people. Which, it may not be there. That may not be their path, that may not be their goal.
Yeah.
We project what we think is best for someone else. And it may not work for them, may not be for them. And you gotta be able to accept that and allow them to take their own path. Right.
Yeah, definitely. I think you have to grow on your own terms and at your own pace. I think that's really important.
Facts. Absolutely. And so I brought this topic up for this episode, and I did it because I was thinking, maybe because we have once you get to a certain rank in the military, they have boards, right? Once you get into the senior rankings, like they have boards, they have panels, and you don't sit in front of the panel. There's a group of people who look at your records, and then they rank you based on whatever the criteria is.
Yeah.
But I say that, but because as I've progressed in the military, I'm even guilty of it myself. Like, we tend to project our ambitions and goals on the other people. Because I have friends that they're progressing in the military, and I'm getting to a point where I'm ready to retire. I'm ready to leave the military and move on to my next chapter or my next book.
Yes.
But even before now, but people be like, yo, you gotta keep, we're gonna keep going. We gonna get promoted. We trying to make, get to the highest rank. And I'm like, why when we start talking French, what's this B stuff?
Like it's a package deal.
Yeah, like it's a package deal. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I'm done. I'm ready to move on. And then, they were like, why are you getting out of you should keep going. Blah, blah. Like, no, that's not my path. Like, I had to be honest with myself, and being honest with myself, I have no regrets joining the military. I have no regrets staying in the military. But it was never my goal to stay as long as I did, but I did.
Oh,
And
really?
yeah. like it was never my expectation or my goal to stay past my first enlistment of
Hmm.
4 years. Like I wanted to come in so I can get that GI Bill to pay for college, and I was going to get out, go to school.
Uh-huh.
You know what I mean? And then it's kind of like the military is good to keep you dependent on it
Hmm.
in a sense because you're guaranteed you're guaranteed that check every 2 weeks
Yeah.
or once a month, however you get paid. But you're gonna get paid regardless.
Hmm.
And when you first come in as a young soldier, like all you have to do is be where you're told and be in the right uniform that you're supposed to be in.
Okay.
You be where you're told on time and in the right uniform. And like that's it. Like there's not a lot of responsibility, for you. So
Mhm.
all I gotta do is this is where I need to be at. All right, too easy.
Yeah.
Or I can go home. All right, too easy.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And then you progress and you start getting a little bit more responsibility, but it's still the same. Like instead of you being told, well, you still get told where to be, what time to be, and what uniform, but then you
Mhm.
gotta pass that on to the people that work under you
Okay.
as you continue to progress.
Hmm.
But you still have, but you still have that person that's in charge of the overall for me and for that section.
Yeah.
And then you progress some more,
Uh-huh.
and then you get to the point where you are that person that's in charge of that section. And
Hmm.
then that's when, you hear about the politics when you progress in the military. But it's not it's a little different
Then
politics, but it's
there.
still yeah, but it's still politics.
Hmm.
You know what I mean? And it's like I didn't realize I was playing the politics until like recently. Because I had a conversation with a friend of mine, and he's like you know, he's talking about, this is what they want, this is what they're looking for me to do, or they're
Uh-huh.
looking at me to fill these certain positions. And he was like, I don't want that position. I'm trying to go a different direction.
Okay.
And I was, in that conversation with him, I was like, that's the politics of it. Like, you have your seniors, and they manage their people in their organization, and it's like, I got a position that needs to be filled or a position that's coming up.
Hmm.
I think you're good for that position. You'll fit in that position, and plus you meet the requirements for the position.
Hmm.
But you may be like, I don't want that position because I know I know what comes with that position, and I
I just
don't
had
want
a
it.
conversation with someone about that last week as well. When you get the perfect candidate conversation from the higher ups,
Mm.
this is for you. This is a great idea. And you're like, no, I really don't want to do it. And this person was persuaded by other people, coworkers and higher ups. And the higher ups will, I think we need to understand that too, no matter what job you are at, um, you need to know what you're signing up for. What is going to be the requirements out of you? Um, if you're going to go to the next level. And it's not always all about money, because sometimes the money is not worth getting those job promotions or going to the next level, because it requires too much, or it's too stressful, or it's that you have to deal with people on another level. And
Mm.
that's what someone was talking to me about last week was, had I known that this job would be like this, I wouldn't have taken it. But once you take it, you really can't go back. Well, you can, but you don't want to go back on it because you don't want
Uh,
to ruffle any feathers. So,
yes. Yeah. Yeah, I agree. And like I was saying, because in like there's this like enlisted, like there's this one position, like some people, like I have a friend who's like one of his goals was to be a first sergeant, and like the first sergeant is like the person in control of the company,
uh-huh.
right? And it's like it was a position that he one of those positions that he dreamed of, and it was one of his goals to be one.
Mhm.
Right. Uh but I've known first arms, I've talked to first arms all the time, and I see the responsibility and that falls on that position. And
Mhm.
it's a lot because you have you're in control of your company, like you're how can I like in I don't know how it would be corporate, but like
Department.
right.
So for us, it's department, and in my field is discipline, meaning
Mhm,
that it's, it rolls into control systems or electrical or
mhm.
process, something along that line. So I get what
Yeah,
yeah.
so they're in control of the department. So they have all their, all those employees, but they have their managers and their supervisors, and then their like employees, right? But
Yeah.
for us is like their squad leaders,
Mhm.
platoon leaders or whatever, and then their soldiers.
Yeah.
But and then over your department, you have your I guess it would be like your regional,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
right?
Yes.
Then above your regional, you got your
Home office, all of that good stuff.
right,
Yeah.
right.
Mhm.
So all that, all that information, like this is what we need to get done, comes down.
Mhm.
So, but you're at the rubber where the rubber meets the road as a
Yeah.
first sergeant. So if something doesn't get done,
Mhm.
it's on you.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And so it's like, but you didn't give me the resources. Well,
People, we deal with this all the time. Resources, not being trained.
you didn't
It's
tell,
on job training.
or you just told me this yesterday. Like, but you want me to get you this information, or you want this to happen, and you just told me at 3 o'clock yesterday, but you want it done today. Like,
Communication.
right. So it's like, and that's the position that my friend was like, they was like looking at him because he got promoted
Mhm.
on the first. And then it was like, oh, well, we gotta, well, I think like his higher, uh, like his high, the same position, but higher, right? So it was like, had a meeting, like was at lunch with him and like the regional
Uh-huh.
manager, right? The sergeant major, and they was like, "Hey, sergeant major, so and so is about to get promoted. He's got to, we already know he's about to get promoted here, probably the next couple of months. You
Yeah.
know, he would make a great first sergeant."
Uh-huh.
And he was like, you're in that position. Now he's in that awkward position because
Mhm.
he has someone who's confident in him
Yes.
and knows he would do well at the position. And now you're in front of, your one of your bosses,
Mhm.
you know what I mean, who makes that decision on who gets these positions and not,
Yeah.
you know what I mean? And now he's like sitting in front of them and he's kind of like, eh.
That's like passive aggressive though. I would consider that passive aggressive. It's like you're putting pressure on me to not say no. I better
Right,
not say no, because if I do, you'll mark me as uh not showing up or not accepting the challenge, or it's so many
right,
labels that can be placed on that. Yeah.
right. So like he's in that position, but that's not, he doesn't want the position. He's like, yo, I kind of want to,
Go this
he's
route.
looking, yeah, because like he's been there for like 2 years. And so
Uh-huh.
he's up to leave in like another year.
Hmm.
And then he's trying to get back to, back to where he was at before,
Uh-huh.
and then spend his last, 3 years in as that rank so he can retire at that rank. But he's trying to retire.
Okay.
So he's trying to spend his last 3 years kind of like in a different path.
Yes.
But like it's like what I'm saying, like you putting these expectations or these goals that you have on someone else.
Hmm.
I mean, you have good, they have good intentions. You know what
Yeah.
I'm saying? They have good intentions and they want you to do that position, but it's like, but there's, these second, and third tier effects, when you take these positions, or because if he takes a position, then he has to stay where he's at to fulfill that position, because it's kind of like a 2-year obligation to stay there in that position.
Really?
Yes.
So if he says no, though, if he doesn't accept the position, then what?
Then he could, so he got promoted. So the position he's in is like one rank lower than what he is now because he got promoted. So it's kind of like, we don't want you to stay in that position. Like, we got to, in order for, for your career, we want to put you in a position that's equivalent to the rank that you got promoted to.
Yeah.
So it's like, either he can stay in that position until it's time for him to leave, or they can move him into another position until it's time for him to leave. Or he can take the position, but then he has to stay there for an additional 2 years.
Yeah.
Once he takes the position. So it's not when you got promoted, it's when you take the position.
Yeah.
It's 2 years from then.
2 years from then.
Right. So that's why it's like, and that's where I was talking about. That's where the politics comes in, because now you're in that position. Like, if I say no, then it looks like you pass up on this position.
Yeah. And
now,
they are, you're gonna get someone to say that, of course. Like, I think, when we go into business, in a business setting, work setting, I think that, we kind of put our what we experience on others. It's like projecting what was passed on to you, you're projecting on someone else. I forgot the meme that I shared a couple weeks ago, but I think we need to be cautious of what we do and say to others when we're passing our expectations on each other or our goals on each other. Because just because you wanted to do it, that's your life to live. It doesn't mean that I want that for me. And I think in the workplace, even with my own experience the last couple of months, I've always wanted to grow. I always wanted to advance and go to the next level. Like, I never wanted to stay the same. It bugs me out that you stay the same for 30 years. You don't do any other job. You don't learn anything. And I'm a natural creative, meaning that I want to learn. Show me the way. And if you don't show me the way, I'm going to find a way. So, with that being said, I just think sometimes we have to ask people, especially if we're in leadership roles, what would you like to do? Because it is your career. It really is. And if you are thinking about exiting a career in a 5-year period or a 3-year, 1 year, whatever it is, I think you should have some type of exit plan. What am I going to do to make sure that I get to that point, and what are the steps and the milestones that I need to meet in order to make sure that things are done properly, what I want? Because at the end of the day, I don't think it's good when we do things to appease other people, because we exhaust ourselves. That's one thing I've learned too. We exhaust ourselves when we do things to make other people happy. And they're only going to be happy for a moment, and then they're going to subject you to something else that they want you to do. That's what I had learned too. So with that being said, I would say if it's not making you happy, and if it's not what you truly want, don't do it. I don't care what money it is, or if you're going to disappoint people. And that's where communication comes into play. If you don't like something that's going on, you do have the right to say, hey, they may not be willing to hear you, but at least you said, hey, listen, this is not what I want to do. I don't want to let you down. I'm not trying to be disrespectful or anything and like that, but I just know what's for me in the next 3 years.
Right.
So that's what I want to do.
Right. You know what I mean? And like because I've even been guilty of it early, like in probably about mid-career, where I used, so just be like, I'm getting out. I'm like, why are you getting out, man? Like, this is, you should stay in, continue to progress, blah, blah, blah. But, then it came to a point, was like, why am I telling, like,
Yeah.
I changed my, my verbal, and I was like, all right, so what's, as long as you got a plan, military's not for everybody, or you should, if you met your goals in the military and you're ready to move on, then do that. Like,
Yeah.
just make sure that you have a plan on what you're gonna do, so that
Mhm.
way you're set up for when you exit, because it's different.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And then it's like, you always hear, like, talking to people who got out or who's not in, they be like, oh man, ain't nothing going on out here in the civilian sector. Like, you might, ain't jobs ain't what they used to be, and the date. And it's like, what I mean? It's kind of like, yeah, I mean, you take it's sometimes it's people that you value, and you value their mentorship or their opinion. You
Mhm.
kind of take it and you like, all right, well, I guess I'll just grind it out. But
Yeah.
I don't do that anymore. I'm like, all right, you got a plan? Well, what's your plan? As long as if you know what you're gonna do and you have a plan,
Mhm.
then go do what you need to do. You know what I mean? So it's like,
Yeah.
eh, I'm not telling you, I'm not telling people to stay in no
Yeah.
more. I'm not, it's
Persuading them
I'm not,
this.
yeah, I'm not persuading nobody anything. Like, yo, if you ready to get out, even if it's my peers,
Mhm.
like, cause I talk to some of my peers, and some of my peers, I don't know why, but they come and, ask for my advice and my opinions. And well, what are you trying to do?
Yeah.
Is that was all right? But look, if that's what you're trying to do,
Mhm.
you know, maybe you should look into this. You should look into that. You know what I mean? Like, I changed it changed my mindset, and it changed my, the way I move. And, I
Yeah.
just try not to project my goals and my expectations on anyone else.
Yeah. I think that's a part of life too. I was thinking a couple weeks ago, I was having a conversation with someone, and I had to check myself with the approach that I took with placing my expectations on that person. And some people are just not ready to blossom. And as much as we get frustrated with people, we sometimes have more faith in people than what they do for themselves.
Mm,
It's like, it's so frustrating when it's like, hey, I want you to do this because I see this in you. I
mm,
know it's for you. And it's just like, I am a part of that group too, where you kind of second guess yourself at times, and you don't have full faith. So one of my friends, they were going through, a different path of finding themselves. And I think as good friends, we have to be motivational to each other, or show motivation, support them in the process if we're really good friends. Because
mm,
a lot of people tell me you don't find people that are honest. And I think people like you and I, people come to us because we're more level-headed. And I think that comes from our background too. Meaning that we're not going to give you some BS to get you out our face, and we don't care about you or whatever. If you're our core people, then we're going to tell you our honest opinion, and support you in the process. There's no ill intent
mm,
in that. But I think you have to put in the work, and if you want to do anything in life, regarding your career or anything, you have to make a plan. You have to write this stuff down, and it's going to only benefit you in the long run. And you have to put in the work to make sure it gets done, because sooner than later that time will pass, and you're like, okay, it's my time to get on out of here, and I didn't do what I was supposed to do. And it's just like, hold on, wait a minute, so now I got to stay here longer. you
mm,
know we're getting ready to go through a lot of um 60s and 70-year-olds that are retiring, or 70-year-olds, 80-year-olds are retiring. I mean, it is what it is. It's their time. They worked hard. We're going through the great resignation, is what they're calling it. A lot of people are switching careers and quitting,
mm,
turning in those letters, because once the one thing that helped us in this pandemic is it made us open our eyes. Well, it should have our eyes to everything. And sometimes we get in these jobs and it's just like, for whatever reason, whether it was your parents or your mate or whatever, persuading you to go and get this job because hey, if you make this money, then it'll help the family, or whatever the case may be, it'll help you create a better life for your kids or whatever. And when you get into these jobs, and it's just like, man, this job is really not for me, I don't really like it. Or it's not paying enough, or it's too stressful, then a lot of people now are saying, you know what, it's not worth it. You have gotten on my last nerve, you have stressed me out too much, you don't care about me. So it makes you question everything about your life. And when you go the healthy versus unhealthy route, meaning that your mental state, when you're always stressed about your job, when you're coming home and you're still thinking about your job, that's one thing that I will recommend. Leave your work business in the car and leave your personal life in the car when you go to work. Meaning that when you get in the car between the two, you got to learn how to drop the stressful stuff. When you're going into your workplace and when you're coming home from your workplace, because life is stressful enough. So I've seen a lot of people stress themselves out about the business setting, and get sick behind it.
Yeah.
And it's not worth it.
Same thing in the military.
Yeah.
Like people go through this same thing. Like people will risk their physical health just so they can continue to progress in the military. And it's crazy. And then it's like, then it's when it's time to get out, now they're going and now they're making all these appointments to address things that it's been hurting for years. I mean, it's crazy. I've like, even I've done it a couple of times, like, ooh, that hurt.
Yeah.
I'll be all right. I'll be all right. You know what I mean? It's like, now it's like it's time for you to retire. Now it's like, well, I gotta make all these appointments to try to get all this stuff that's been ailing me for so long, because it's this expectation of like, you have to be this like physically fit and healthy person in order to continue to progress. You know what I mean? Like there's people out here who jump out of airplanes who get injured, but because they want to continue to progress, they'll like, nah, I don't want to be on no what we call them like profiles, but it's where you can't do certain physical activities. But it's a part of your your rehab to make sure that you're able to get back to where you need to be. But like, they may rehab, get to a certain point, then it's kind of like, well, look, I mean, if you're feeling all right, you can keep going, but it's gonna have long term, it's going to affect you. You know what I mean? So now it's just kind of like,
you're running a major risk.
Right. You know what I mean? Just because they want to continue to get promoted. So it's like, then you retire and then you can barely walk.
Exactly.
Or your back's hurting all the time, or you got these migraines all the time. And it's just like, I mean, it's
definitely a huge sacrifice that I don't know if we briefly talked about this before, but is it embedded in us? Is it taught to us to just sacrifice your whole life, whether it's going to the military or getting a stressful job in the corporate America field, and you have to do it because you got to make this money now. And if you don't, then you're going to lose out. You're never going to be successful, or you're not going to make the money. And it's just like, I hate watching people that have worked so hard their whole life not enjoy retirement because they dropped, or they can't do anything, or they didn't take the time to take vacations when they were working. I just said that yesterday to my mom. I have never felt where I needed to take a vacation every month until this past 2 weeks. Like, like I'm just exhausted. And it's just like I just want to run away and go to somewhere where I can get my mind together, clarity again. I thought I started off pretty well January 1st. And here comes last week. And it just like
I'm telling you, 2022 took the gloves off.
Yes.
You ain't, I'm telling you, I noticed it on, it was probably 5 January. I was like, yo, 2022 is not playing with y'all. If y'all not paying attention, like, look, I'm telling you.
Yeah, I was just like, man, I thought that, you know, it was going to be easy peasy, breezy. You know, we're going to be smooth sailing this year. And here comes disruptiveness. And it's just like, man, here comes the, you know, the stress. And are you ready for it? Is your mind ready for it? Are you ready to go? This is what I thought yesterday. Are you ready really to go to the next level? Because right now, I'm saying to myself, why did this happen to me? Specifically happened to me at this time. And you've been pushing motivational speaker. And I'm just like, oh, I don't really know about
that. Am I pushing my expectations onto you? Trying to create you to be a motivational speaker? Man, let me write that down. I might have to process that.
Yeah, but I mean, it's true. Like some people see things in us that we don't necessarily identify. And even when I told you last week, somebody asked me about advice on the school system. Like, I'm not an expert on the school system. Why are you asking me? You ask me with how to deal with these kids. I'm sure you're not gonna like the answer that I give to you. So you know, it's just things like that that I'm starting to pay attention to. But at the same time, I don't want to exhaust myself with a career where I'm looking at other people. One author that I've been reading her book, April Mason, she works with a lot of people, and she's trying to teach young women to be young women, successful young women, and to keep that money and make it work for you. But you know, everybody has a struggle at first. It takes years to, you know, get to the point where she is. Sometimes it doesn't, but I think we all have a story or different reasons why we go through different things so that we can help other people. And I think it's very clear that we need to start helping each other more and supporting each other. And you know, you see something in someone, it's okay to voice that to them. I don't think it should be in a, you have to do this because I said to do it, or you should be a teacher, or you should complete your degree in 3 years. You're placing your expectation on these people, and it may not be their path or pace. And I just don't like when people do that because everybody's different.
Yeah, everybody is different. And that's why, you know, that's why I was that's one of my gripes with, you know, with school and education. Like, it's trying to put this one size fits all when it comes to educating the youth, and that's not how it works. It's not good. It's not. Anyway,
it's you know, one thing that I will say, and I know we can go on and on for days about the school system, but they have some serious issues, some real serious issues that they don't know how to tackle. And you know, it's going to take starting at home for us parents to educate our kids the right way. And if you don't have access to resources, I feel like there needs to be things put into motion at these school districts. If you don't want to follow their curriculum, or on a state level or a national level, these are the resources that you have. And I don't know how they're going to go about doing this with finances, with all this stuff that needs to be known. But it is necessary at this point to teach the kids about humanity, about equality, about managing your emotions, about mental health. I feel like it's so much things that they haven't even tapped into that it needs to be done. And like I said, I can't talk about it now, but in a few months, I probably will be talking about it when everything's said and done, taken care of. But what I have experienced the last 2 weeks, I would just say, if you are a parent, make sure that your kids are good and that you talk to them, because most kids don't lie. I don't know too many that do lie. That they do, they they need old school talking, but but yeah, definitely talk to your kids, and don't place your goals on them either. That ties into that too, because we want our kids. I noticed, like I said, these 2021s, when Jay was talking last week, I think it was so heavy for them. You have to really talk to them. I shared Michelle Obama the other day too. Talking about placing your parents' fears on, well, parents placing their fears on kids. Oh, you can't go away to college. No, can't do that because I don't know anybody there. I know no one. So how are you going to take care of yourself if I'm not there? And she these kids do it every day. They got Uber Eats. They got, it was just alarming.
So
huh?
Who's going to take care of you if I'm not there? So what have you been teaching these past 18 years? But anyway, continue.
That's a good question. But it was alarming. I don't know if I shared it before when we went to drop Jay off, and we had a parent meeting with the school in person. And the questions that were asked, and if my son has not called me in a day, I'm going to call you, police officer, the head of police officers, so that you can go and find him. You know how many kids on this campus? But they're serious. They are dead serious. Like, you're gonna make sure that my kid is okay. And I don't mind that. But at the same time, you cannot place those type of fears on your kids where they can't operate without you. Because in all honesty, I know a lot of adults that have not found their way when their parents have died, because they were so dependent on their parents making sure that they were good. And it is just eye-opening. So I would definitely say, talk to your kids every single day. Teach them how to do their laundry. Teach them how to get up and get a bath with soap. All of that good stuff. Teach them how to treat people, what you should not say, do to others. Be polite, hold the door for your elders, treat them right. It's just little stuff that is overlooked.
I think there's I've been thinking about it, and I think there's some false what's the word? False statements, false is it false statement, false narrative?
What?
When we say don't be in such a hurry to grow up. And I say that because enjoy your youth, right? But you shouldn't wait until you're an adult to learn to be an adult.
No, you can't. I think it needs to be reworded.
Right. and so it's like that's one of them. It's one of those terms that or statements that I've been thinking about. I was like, we need to stop. Well, I'm gonna stop using it. Don't be in such a hurry. We're all because we have to you have to prepare your child for you have to prepare to be an adult before you become an adult.
Mhm.
You know what I mean? Just like before I get before I get promoted, I need to start fulfilling that responsibility or acting in that capacity before I get into that position.
Mhm.
Because in the military we get promoted off of potential.
Yes.
So, you can't be like, well, no, I don't want to teach, you're a kid,
Mhm.
stay in your, stay in your kid. But like, no, like you need to, start instilling in them early. I'm not saying like, put all this responsibility on your kid, but like you have to start earlier than what you would probably need to than we expect to start,
Mhm.
setting up our youth to be an adult.
Mhm.
You know what I mean?
I think it's true. Like the kids today, I was at a basketball game Tuesday night and I was just looking around at the in the stands and looking at the kids and of course this generation of kids, they're totally different. It's just crazy. That's all I can say. And everybody is trying to be better than one another, meaning that they're trying to put this image out there. Hey, let me have the latest sneaker, the latest coat, um, the latest weave, whatever that it
Mm.
is. That like it's just to keep making it seem like that you have it. And um I feel like we have to show our kids the way of life, the proper way of life. You're not going to always go out and get the brand new Jordans every time they come out every single weekend. You're not going to be able to, uh, what should I say, not work. You have to have a job, like a boy, girl, whatever, man, woman. You have
Mm.
to work. Like you're not gonna get around it unless you have some type of trust fund or something like that, that's set up for you. But still, we have to teach our kids the way of the world, and life is not going to be perfect either. I don't know anyone that has a perfect life, not one person. They may put it out there as they do, but they don't. So, and that's just the honest truth. So I think we have to be honest with that part as well. Like if you think you're going to get up with a smile on your face every day, that's not going to happen. So you need to tell your kids to, you know, thank God when you get up in the morning. Everything's not going to be perfect, but it's not the end of the world either. Um, so yeah, I think we need to start doing that. I think we need to change that narrative of don't be in a rush, because I think that they need to know certain things, the way of life, and go from there. They need to be taught properly. Is what I'm really trying to say. You know.
Yeah. And not just our youth. You need to look at our peers and our seniors as well. I mean,
Mhm.
if you can impart something that you learn and you think has some value or is beneficial,
Mhm.
you know, pass that on.
Yes.
You know what I mean? Because I we I mean we don't know everything.
Yeah.
So we do have some. We may have some friends out there that aren't who may not know. You don't know what you don't know. So uh pass on some wisdom to you and I think is of value, I'm passing on. If you think it's of value, then you can keep it. If not, then you don't. It is what it is.
Did you see David Shands talking about David Shands and Donnie talking about having a voice on podcasts? And they were saying something like to the effect, everyone needs to have a podcast because you need to know that your voice can be heard. and the purpose of talking um, to different people about your life in itself and about the things that you have learned. And I thought that was really, really good, what they were saying, because it is true. Like, I've heard a lot of people say, hey, I don't think everybody needs a podcast. I think we all have something to say, meaning that we all can relate to something. We all have our own unique identity, is what
Mhm.
I want to say. And we can relate to someone. It may not be to you, but it may be to someone that is listening that needs that motivation at that particular time. Now, I
Mm.
told you about that the other week too, when one of the coaches on Instagram reached out to me. Like, I don't I don't think that we can dismiss motivation from others,
Mm.
meaning that, oh, it's not important. If you needed that particular day, moment, hour, then you need it. And it can hit your heart to where you say, okay, I accept that. I needed that. Like, I needed someone to say, hey, keep doing you. Like, whatever that you're doing, do it, and be okay with it. It will work out sooner than later. And I think that is true. Like, consistency and working hard and keep going after whatever that you want, it will work out at some point. If it takes you 30 years, I just heard Khaled talking about that, DJ Khaled.
Yeah,
Like, it took him a minute to get to where he is, but
yeah,
he's back to it.
I seen that. He said that he said he didn't make it big until he hit 40.
Yeah.
But he like he was doing all this stuff prior to to making his name and being who he is now. But he said he didn't hit big until 40.
Mhm.
Like even Rick Ross said that he didn't start making money until recently. He's been rapping and doing his thing, but he said he really didn't start seeing the fruits of his labor until like the last, like 5 to 10 years or something like that.
Mhm.
Yeah, it's like, yeah, even like Kevin Hart, like,
Yes.
what I'm saying, they say like Kevin Hart was an overnight success. Like, nah, Kevin Hart's been grinding
For a long time.
for like, yeah, he said for like 10, 15 years.
Mhm.
But it just so happened that he had that one whatever that one like thing that really like start putting his name in people's mouth, and he started being seen more.
Yes.
Now he is where he is. Like, it's crazy.
Yeah, I think, I look at Steve Harvey. I don't listen to him on the radio anymore, but even his story of, being homeless, living in his car, had kids, and, college dropout, and all of that good stuff, and getting married, and, having to start financially over again. And 50 Cent, like, 50 went through his issues too, and he was able to be smart enough to start over again a couple of times.
Mhm.
And, I just think we can't get caught up in now, meaning that life is going to stop now and we can't do anything about it. That's where I am in life at this point.
Yeah.
um I feel like I've had some tough times, some real tough times, but today, like, when I got out this morning, I was just like, it's crazy. If you talked to me, mm, 4 years ago, I was a total different person.
Mm.
Like, and if you talk to me today, you can tell the difference. Like, you can see the difference. um and sometimes we go through our situations, and we have to keep going. That's the only thing that motivates me in this aspect, is you have to keep going, because I know that I have a great future ahead of me, and I can't wait to get to the point where, other people can recognize it,
Mm.
meaning, hey, okay, she went through that, and okay, I can understand, her blossoming.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm a firm believer in everything happens for a reason. And I just believe that, this time is like my reasoning is is coming. Whatever is in store for me is
Yep.
in this I don't know what to say, but like it's starting to show itself, I think, to me.
Mm-hmm.
And I have to stay consistent. I have to, put the action, I have to put the work, and to, in order for it to continue to reveal itself to me and for it to come into fruition. You know what I mean? So most definitely, you gotta keep grinding, you gotta keep working. Everything doesn't happen how you envisioned it.
Mm-hmm.
It may you got a goal, and you just got to take however the path is to get to that goal.
Yes.
You just have to grind. You have to grind it out and keep going.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? And you got to be able to put it in filters.
Mm-hmm.
Because those outside influences will creep in,
Jack you up.
and you got to know what what to filter out and what to allow in.
You really do. Outside influences, I've said the past couple of years, I will never go about life the same as I did before. Meaning nobody will possibly know my every movement via social media. Um, because they'll probably learn about stuff way after it has happened and for years. Because the moment that you tell other people anything is a moment that they take over, meaning that, hey, you can't do that. Why are you doing that? Are you doing that with that person? I don't think they're the right person for you. Oh, this or that. And it's just like, when you go through it, you like I said, I went through that and I look at people and it's just like, man, I'm the one that's sitting around. That should be me in that position. But
Absolutely.
I got screwed over. So you can only get screwed over so much before you start moving a little different. And you're gonna make sure, like Irv Gotti said, that same stuff ain't gonna happen again to me. I can guarantee that. So it's all a part of life, is learning lessons, but you better act on everything that you need to act on for you in a positive way. So
Absolutely.
yeah.
I agree. Man.
Yeah, so I think we had a good little podcast today. And
Podcast ain't little. I'm gonna need you
I know, sorry.
make that matter.
It's big.
Podcast ain't little. We come up with that little stuff. Yeah, I don't know why you coming with your
The wording. Sorry.
Mm-hmm.
Sorry, yeah. Like I said, I know that people are watching, and we appreciate all of you, and we have high expectations for this podcast to blow up as with anyone else. And Earn Your Leisure talked about that too last week too. They, like, the past 2 weeks, they've been talking about how they started where they are now. Like, it takes time for these things to happen. The day that you plant the seed is not the day that you eat the fruit. So it is true. It takes time, it takes patience, it takes consistency. So when you see our face every single week, that is consistency, because we could be very well doing other stuff, and y'all know I got 50 million jobs. So and Ray does too.
No, you don't put that on me, Bricky Bobby. I do not.
He's got jobs though. He's trying to make moves. Yeah.
And that's another thing I want to talk about. We're not talking about it today, but I think putting context behind, moving silence, and not telling everybody what you got going on. I think we should talk about it and put some context behind it, because there's some things that you need to talk about and you need to tell people what you're doing. You don't have to give everything. But anyway.
Did you see the post that I shared? I think it was it last night? Hold on, because I shared it. Yeah. It says, You ain't gotta move in silence when you believe in yourself. Ain't a hater alive more powerful than you and God. Speak your goals, do the work, and stay focused. And I was told a couple of years ago, I will say this, I don't mean to prolong this, but I'm big on this at this point, and I'm glad that I saw that yesterday. Because I was told a couple of years ago by a couple of people, hey, you need to move in silence. Don't say nothing. Because I was disrupting some people. They were in their feelings about AAU.
Mm.
And I felt like, it is what it is. But when I'm doing work, major work,
Mm.
you're gonna see it. You're definitely gonna see it. Now, what you do with it is your business.
Mm.
But yes, we do need to put that in context of what our plans and stipulations behind it, our goals. Like our core people need to be supportive. I feel like my core people have always been supportive. It's no ill intent behind it. And I appreciate them for that. So, when we tell them what we're doing and they say, yes, go ahead and do that. I kind of like say, yeah, I love my core people and I do the same for others. And you do too. So yeah, definitely need to discuss that. I don't know if that'd be a topic for a good hour, but I had plenty of conversations about that. And plenty of people to use as examples.
Mm.
Yeah.
All right. Well, appreciate you. Appreciate another good conversation. Appreciate those motivational points that you put in there.
Yes, I thank you. I appreciate you as well for everything.
I appreciate the listeners that rock with us.
Mm-hmm.
That continue to rock with us, and yeah.
Yeah. So we'll see you all next week. We're gonna have another good topic, great topic. And go from there. I hope everyone has a good week. We're almost into February. Y'all better get to it. Stop
Getting
playing
ready.
around. Yeah.
Oh man. All right, y'all be easy.
All right.